Among the many torn missing persons posters, a family quietly tiptoes barefoot through an empty store in a ghost town. The mother, Evelyn Abbott, carefully searches through a pile of uncollected prescription bottles for her oldest son, Marcus, who is sick. Evelyn gives Marcus some medication and uses sign language to assure her deaf daughter, Reagan, that her brother is okay. Reagan then checks on her younger brother, Beau, who is drawing a picture of a rocket on the floor. He signs to Reagan, "Rocket. That's how we'll get away," he signs, then climbs the nearly empty shelves to reach for a space shuttle toy. The toy falls, but Reagan catches it before it hits the floor. Meanwhile, the father, Lee Abbott, finds some electronics to boost a radio signal and cutting pliers for Reagan. Evelyn signs to the family that it'll be dark soon, and they get ready to leave for home. Suddenly, they look horrified. Beau is holding the electronic space shuttle toy. Lee carefully takes it from him and removes its batteries. He signs to his youngest son, "It's too loud." As the family leaves, Reagan secretly gives the toy back to Beau, who then grabs the batteries on his way out. The Abbotts silently walk back home on a sand trail they've made. As they reach a walking bridge, they suddenly hear the electronic sound of the space shuttle toy from Beau, who is trailing behind. A horrified Lee runs back toward his son, but it's too late. An alien creature quickly grabs and kills Beau. The Abbotts are home on their family farm. Lee is in the basement of the farmhouse, where he has set up a complex surveillance system with cameras and monitors, along with his radio and electronics, hoping to contact any other survivors. There are many news clippings reporting the alien invasion, as well as notes from Lee that read, "Blind, attack sound, and armor." Evelyn, meanwhile, is in a cellar where she is hanging birds that she has made. She is pregnant. She sets up an oxygen tank connected to an infant breathing mask. It is next to a covered, soundproof baby crib. Lee has moved to the top of his grain silo, where he looks through pictures of Beau. Evelyn asks Reagan to tell her father that dinner is ready, which she reluctantly does. After a silent prayer, they eat soft foods on lettuce leaves instead of plates. Later, Reagan and Marcus play Monopoly, but Marcus accidentally knocks over a lantern, setting the rug on fire. Lee quickly extinguishes it, and they quietly wait for any consequences. It appears they've dodged a bullet, but then they hear a loud noise on the roof. Lee looks out the window and is startled, but relieved, to see a raccoon fall off the roof. He goes down to the basement to continue working on a cochlear implant processor to help his daughter hear. Evelyn joins him there, and they share a smile and a pair of earbuds, slow dancing to Neil Young's Harvest Moon. The next day, while Lee pours more sand onto their walking paths, Evelyn is in the cellar checking her blood pressure. Her due date is just a couple of weeks away. She places a stethoscope on her abdomen, revealing a strong, healthy heartbeat. Reagan enters the house, careful to walk only on the marked parts of the floor that don't creak. She wants to go down into the basement, but her dad stops her. He has added small amplifiers from a stereo to her new cochlear implant processor and wants to put them on Reagan, but she stops him and signs that they never work. Lee, disheartened, hands them to her instead and begins preparing for an outing. He wants Marcus to come along, but the boy is scared and refuses. Surprisingly, it's Reagan who insists on going, but Lee insists she stay and care for her mom. Disappointed, she retreats to her room and tries on the new cochlear implant processor. When they fail to function, she's devastated. Reagan packs a bag containing her cutting pliers and a wrapped item from her dresser, then leaves the farm. Lee has taken his son to the river, where he teaches him that making small sounds is alright as long as louder sounds cover them up. Beside a waterfall, they can talk freely without worrying about being heard. Marcus asks his dad why he didn't let Reagan come and if he blames her for what happened to Beau, because she blames herself. Lee assures Marcus that it wasn't anyone's fault. Marcus advises his dad that if he still loves Reagan, he should tell her. Meanwhile, Reagan arrives at the walking bridge, where a makeshift memorial for Beau has been set up. She unwraps the item from her dresser, revealing the space shuttle toy. Using the pliers, she carefully cuts a wire, enabling the toy to light up silently. Meanwhile, back at home, Evelyn carries a laundry bag upstairs from the basement. It catches on the stairs, and as she tries to free it, she falls, revealing a nail sticking up from one of the steps. On their way back home, Lee and Marcus are surprised by an elderly man emerging from the woods. They then notice the lifeless body of his wife nearby. Lee urges the old man to stay quiet, but instead, he lets out a loud scream. Lee grabs Marcus and they flee as the man is swiftly snatched up and killed by an alien. Meanwhile, back at home, Evelyn's water breaks. She heads down to the basement and accidentally steps on the exposed nail protruding from the stairs. Despite the pain, she manages to stifle a cry but drops the picture frame she was carrying, which attracts an alien into the house. Evelyn quickly pulls her foot off the nail, activates the red light bulbs that line their property as a warning signal, and searches for a mechanical kitchen timer on the shelves. The alien cautiously descends the basement stairs, listening for any signs of life. When the timer rings, the alien attacks it, giving Evelyn a chance to sprint upstairs. In the front yard, she spots another alien. Evelyn rushes upstairs to the bathroom and lowers herself into the tub. She begins to give birth just as the alien reaches the upper floor. Lee returns home and is shocked to find the red lights turned on. He signs Rocket to his son and instructs him, "I need you to make a louder noise." Lee grabs his shotgun as Marcus races to a designated spot and ignites a fuse, setting off a chain of fireworks. Lee searches the house and enters the bathroom, where he finds an empty bathtub stained with his wife's blood. He starts crying, believing that Evelyn has been killed by the alien, but then discovers that she is safe and hiding in the shower with their new baby boy. Meanwhile, Marcus is walking back toward the house when he hears an alien. He dashes into the cornfield, but accidentally collides with a tractor wheel, knocking himself unconscious. At the same time, Reagan is also returning home when she spots the beam of Marcus' flashlight emanating from the cornfield, but she doesn't hear the alien approaching behind her. As the alien gets closer, Reagan's cochlear implant processor starts producing a high-pitched feedback which distresses the alien, causing it to run off. Reagan locates Marcus, and they retreat to the top of the grain silo for safety. Lee leads Evelyn to the cellar and settles their newborn son in the soundproof crib. Evelyn reflects on Bo, regretting not carrying him on that critical day. Before resting, she asks Lee to promise he will protect their children. Lee departs to search for the kids just as water begins rushing into the cellar. Later, Evelyn wakes to discover that the cellar has flooded. To make matters worse, an alien has entered the room from above, and the baby is sleeping in the open-topped soundproof crib. Evelyn cautiously picks up her baby and retreats to the back of the cellar, hiding behind the waterfall that is flooding the room. On top of the silo, Marcus signs, "Don't worry, Dad will come for us," but Reagan shakes her head and replies, "Dad will come for you." Suddenly, a hatch on the top of the silo breaks, causing Marcus to fall inside. As he begins to sink in the grain, the noise draws the alien away from the cellar where Evelyn is hiding. The hatch completely breaks away and falls into the silo, narrowly missing Marcus. Reagan jumps into the silo and manages to rescue her brother by pushing the hatch toward him so he can grab hold of it. However, she quickly sinks into the grain herself. Marcus climbs onto the hatch and pulls his sister to safety. Reagan and Marcus sit safely on top of the silo door, but then they hear a crash above them on the silo roof. The alien from the flooded cellar jumps into the silo, and the kids cover themselves with the hatch door. They seem doomed until Reagan's cochlear implant processor emits a piercing feedback once again, forcing the alien to crash through the side of the silo and flee. Reagan and Marcus scramble out of the silo and into a pickup truck. Lee arrives and grabs an axe, but is swiftly attacked by the alien, prompting Marcus to scream. Hearing this, the alien shifts its attention to the truck, tearing it open. When Reagan's processor begins emitting its piercing feedback again, she turns it off. Now, the alien can resume its attack on the truck without interference. Lee, who is badly injured, makes eye contact with his daughter and signs, "I love you. I've always loved you." With a yell, he sacrifices himself to save the kids. They put the truck into neutral and roll back to the house, where they reunite with their mother. Evelyn and the kids hear the alien approaching, so they hurry back into the house and descend to the basement. It's Reagan's first time seeing the extensive effort her father put into repairing and creating her cochlear implant processor, and she's overcome with emotion. Just then, the lights start to flicker. The alien descends into the basement, trapping them. Reagan quickly scans a handwritten note from her dad that reads, "What is their weakness?" She notices the hearing aids on his workbench and has a realization. Switching on her cochlear implant processor, she generates feedback that makes the alien shudder. Reagan amplifies the feedback by holding the processor up to a microphone. The alien collapses momentarily but manages to stagger back to its feet. Evelyn seizes Lee's shotgun and blows its head to pieces. As they observe on the surveillance monitors that their conflict has attracted every alien in the county to their home, Reagan turns up the speakers while Evelyn readies the shotgun, wearing a wry grin on her face. In this way, movie ends here. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more interesting movie recaps.